Welcome to Alfredo's Size 3 Taco Truck, a Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast. Lovers of schemes and goofs since 2016. I'm Vincent Curkov.
I'm Pat Van Value.
I'm Nate Horn.
I'm Alex Botts, and I'm farther from the mic. Readers comment below if it sounds better or worse.
But only if you're a reader.
Yeah, only if you're a reader.
All right, Nate, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. You have the schedule.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, I have the schedule. We're talking about GTs, which I'm told for the first time, hearing this for the first time, is a tournament series, an illustrious tournament series run by AMG or whatever.
Where the tournaments don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, that. And you can find them in a big center justified bolded list on their webpage, the Mercedes AMG webpage. And then we're going to talk about Squad Goals, which is the event that we just ran and participated in and lost embarrassingly in. And then we're going to talk about some new models because they keep releasing them. And I think that'll be the show.
Despite our protests. But before we get into all that, Second Wind tickets went on sale. You missed it. It's sold out.
Yeah, you dumbass.
You had a 9-minute window. We sold out in 9 minutes. If you want to get on the wait list, you can go to secondwindchicago.com and follow the instructions there instead of me telling you what they are. Put your freaking Longshanks number in there. And if your Longshanks has a goofy middle name that you pay for some reason I can't search by that. So don't give me that name. Don't be like...
And if you're Sam, let Vince search by that.
Yeah, I mean, me and Sam have been going back and forth about some Longshanks features, as we do every year.
Yeah. And people should actually get on the waitlist, though, because the waitlist actually goes through. Like, people do cancel ahead of time, and then you get on the waitlist and stuff. I don't remember exactly how deep into it we got last year, but it was pretty deep. So
we went through the whole waitlist. It was like 70 people.
Yeah, there you go.
So
it was 70 people? Wait, so we had like more than double the amount of people trying to get to Second Wind? And they all got in. We had 2 second wins.
So the reason that you can get in off the wait list is because my refund policy is incredibly generous. If you cannot go to Second Wind and you find out you can't go, reach out to me and I will refund you the second I sell your ticket to someone else.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want my event to be full. I don't care to make money off Second Wind. I just want it to be as full as possible. I think the fullest it's ever been is what was 61 last year. Is the fullest it's ever been
For Marvel.
Not counting the one time that the player count was above 64. But yeah.
So that's why people get in off the wait list. So get on the wait list if you want to go. It's very likely you will get to go. You might only get a week's notice, but it's very likely you'll get to go. Anyway, and I think we largely sold out in 9 minutes because I spent all of Squad Goals telling everybody when tickets were going to go on sale. And that's because Squad Goals was a hit and people want to do another Alfredo tournament.
Yeah, I think there's nothing better at getting people motivated to go to big events besides going to big events. Like, I know at least every time I go to one and on my way home, I'm thinking about, okay, when's the next one? How long do I have to wait before I get to do this again? So I think having the tickets go on sale the day after did a lot. Like, you would have sold out regardless, obviously, but the selling out in 9 minutes part, I think, was fueled by a lot of people who had a good time at Squad Goals.
Especially when the events are run by certified TO geniuses who have innovated such tactics as having a clock system that makes sense and running on time and cool venues like a brewery or an abandoned mall that has like vaporwave vibes and a bunch of old people wandering around that may live there. So those are the types of things you could expect when you come to Chicago for a big ol' MCP tournament. Speaking of big ol' MCP tournaments, we're going to talk about GTs now, the biggest and oldest MCP tournaments. People in this podcast have thoughts about this. I don't really, because Second Wind isn't one of them. So you guys tell me what to think.
Oh, yeah. So Second Wind applied to be a GT. We didn't get a GT. Surprise, surprise. Putting on the thing that I would follow their rules to the letter in quotation marks didn't get me a GT. I don't know. Like, I would have happily worked with them and see if we could have come to somewhere in the middle that would have allowed Second Wind to be a GT, because I would have loved to work with AMG on it. But I do kind of think us being in a brewery is a straight up just non-starter for a company that has to justify the things that they do to Disney. I think is probably...
Yeah. I mean, that probably doesn't help, but also every one of these except one in the US is at a convention. Like, they clearly wanted this to be the cool big con events and a way to get people to go to cons and a way to people to pay attention to their stuff at cons. So I think as long as you're running an independent event, getting a GT is going to be an uphill battle no matter what you do.
I also think that, like, you know, as much as I am always down to blame Big Mouse for any and all societal problems, the fact that they got like way more applications than they thought they would, like they said that at some point, right?
They got like or something across
400, yeah, right. And like that kind of precludes them from negotiating. Like there's like another world where they're like, we would really like Second Wind specifically to be a GT, so let's talk to Vince and make this work. But they probably just can't do that for any tournaments. They probably just had to look at it and be like, yes, no, okay, continue, because this approval process was probably a huge pain in the ass for them, and they didn't want it to be. So,
what is the one that's not at a convention?
So the only one I'm not sure about, because all the other ones kind of named us. There's the Gamers Guild they're like listed 3 different times. He basically gets to do one event for all 5 of the games. 3 of them are in one Gamers Guild Heroes and Fleets Grand Tournament. Mm-hmm. And then the other 2 are independent events that just say Gamers Guild in Phoenix, Arizona, and don't have any type of like event. Because like in the application form, you don't have to give them the name of your event. You can request one of these without having a name in place. So it looks like he kind of like amalgamated a con because he's doing all 5 games, but not all in the same weekend. I don't know. I'm curious to see more about what's going on there and the exact format, because I didn't know there were any even moderately sized events in Arizona, and that's not too far away from where I live. So
well, legally it has to be 32 players or everyone involved will be killed. So
that's true.
It's a big event.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go in case somebody drops last minute. That ain't worth it.
Everyone involved will be killed.
Speaking of finding events that are GTs, the fuck is this website? Explain that.
So
what I prefer Center Justified, have since I was 12.
What's great about this is I was trying to find the list while we were getting set up here, and I'm like, oh, let's see if I can do this like a normal human way of going to their website and trying to find where's the list of grand tournaments. And I looked around, and it's like, well, it's not in the organized play section. Oh, they have a tab at the top here that says events. Oh, there's a thing that says grand tournaments. What if I click on that? And it takes you to the announcement that grand tournaments will be happening and how to apply to become one. And that's it.
So how would you find that list? I guess it's probably in their like recent communications or something like that.
So
right?
if you go to transmissions and then studio news and organized play, you can find it that way.
Wait, but if you go to transmissions and choose any game, will it not appear then?
Fuck no.
Oh no. And yeah,
they
and
know
like,
how to tag articles to show up in more than one place.
Yeah, and it's all just like one big center justified list of all the fucking things in chronological order and by region. But it's for every game, all 5 games. And you can't search Marvel Crisis Protocol, because if it's an event that has all 5 games, one of which you'll note is Marvel Crisis Protocol, it just says all 5 games.
Yep.
So there is like, I don't know, I mean it's really a minor thing that we're complaining about, but
yes.
Because these aren't, unfortunately, they're not big deals, probably mostly. But like, isn't the only reason someone would look at this list to find events for the game they play? I mean, I'm sure there are literally people who play all 5 AMG games, but there's got to be like 10 of them that aren't AMG employees, and maybe like 2 more that are AMG employees. Like, I don't. I don't know. It's just very strange. It's very... Tournament circuits are things that are theoretically exciting, but tabletop games are a niche hobby. So when you put together a tournament circuit, either it looks like this or it looks like Squad Goals and Second Wind.
Yeah, it is a shame that there's not in any kind of tabular format to let you sort and filter and find. Because, I mean, yeah, that's, I think, maybe the biggest selling point of getting to be a GT is free advertising, right? Like, the AMG theoretically should be tweeting about your event. They're giving you prize support. They're putting you on the main website where people can discover your existence. I don't feel like it's asking a lot to make it just a little bit more discoverable by making this page not suck ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do really wish they did it better, because it would give me more of a reason to be like okay with Second Wind not getting it, because I'm like, at least some event is getting publicity that wouldn't.
Yeah.
For
Well,
Second
but what
Wind
the fuck
not
does it
being
matter,
one.
Vince? We already mega sold out.
Exactly.
You
That's
could
why
put
we don't need it, right?
Yeah, that's
but then
exactly right. You could put up another Second Wind right now for the day after, the Monday, and it would sell out.
I think we just need to run Second Wind at the
Second Wind
Chicago
weekend 1,
area
Second Wind weekend 2.
or the Great Midwest Chicago-based war game convention that definitely has other games happening. And have a website where we say
we'll call it that.
where we talk
Maybe
about all
you
the
could
other events we're
have-
running, and then we don't run the events.
Maybe that's what I should do. I should talk to Hank and be like, Hank, I need you to demand that AMG give you 2 grand tournaments, and then you give me one of them.
He doesn't have any. They
Does he have
specifically
any?
didn't apply.
Hank.
Well,
Hank's-
Adepticon is Worlds.
for listeners. Hank is from Adepticon. His last name is Adepticon.
Hank
Adepticon.
Vivian Adepticon.
That's right. Yeah. Any other thoughts about GTs? Oh, right. There was a screenshot in our Discord, which is where most investigative journalists go for ironclad information.
Yeah, so there's pictures you can see going around of some of the prize support. It largely looks like a subset of what was in the Adepticon prize wall. So it's those same new designed acrylic measuring sticks that have like the vibranium spear on them instead of impact webbing, but they're just acrylic measuring sticks.
Is that what my sticks have on them?
No.
You didn't
You have
exchange
the old
tickets for.
ones.
Yeah.
Oh no, those are the newest ones.
Yeah.
I have the 20. You
have the ancient ones.
23 ones.
Yeah,
You
those
the
have been
ancient
kicking around
ones.
for years.
Oh, okay, got it. Damn, I'm old hat.
I don't know if the new ones are the correct size, because like the ones you have are not the correct size. I don't know anybody.
I've
Who
heard it's a
spent
third
tickets on the new
size,
ones?
but I don't.
Oh, excellent! That'd be exciting.
I'm not sure. Don't trust me.
Hope they're extra long. That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
Literally pay to win templates.
But everybody I know spent their tickets on dice. The dice are there, and GTs are getting some amount of blue dice, which is interesting. They're getting the foil Infinity Gems if you want a foil Infinity Gem card. So yeah, I didn't see anything in there that wasn't also in the Adepticon prize wall, which is fine. Like that's not a complaint.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody was flipping out about the blue dice.
Yeah, the blue dice are great.
Yeah, I mean they're nice. I have some blue dice.
The way-
Thanks to you guys.
The way this website is trying to describe prizes, I'm suspicious that it doesn't mean what it says. So like, first gets a trophy.
Yeah, I didn't see this section. Yeah.
Yeah. Top 2 get an acrylic mission tracker,
Yes.
and top 4 get an acrylic tool set. So does first place get all of that stuff?
Yes.
I mean, like that's what the website says. But I'm sort of suspicious that's true. I don't know. Seems like a lot of stuff.
That does seem like a lot of stuff.
Kinda
First,
Does it seem like a lot
finally,
of stuff?
I mean, kind of.
people.
That seems like a lot of Adepticon tickets worth of stuff.
Okay, I mean that was like an artificial.
Yeah, there's the only scarcity of acrylic templates is artificial. Like, whatever.
People were killing each other for the blue dice.
I know.
Yeah, so I found the picture they posted, and it doesn't help clarify how much would be in an event kit. So I don't know. I would believe they would hand all of this out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
But
I
Nate, there
can.
was something else.
Oh yeah, you can see a picture of the trophy. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
I mean,
it's no squad goals trophy.
It
There's no
absolutely. I mean,
sparkles.
look at this. I'll put this in our chat.
It's not
and it's in our
bespoke.
Discord.
It's not bespoke. I didn't spoke it. That's for sure.
I mean, the art prints are also really cool. I don't remember
There's a
the art
trophy
prints
in here?
from the.
Yeah, which one of these things is the trophy? Oh, it's the center thing.
It's the thing.
It's the giant power token.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Wait, that kicks ass actually. Like, I would use that. I'm not using it as a trophy. I'm using that as a power token.
Wouldn't it be great if you could just like get 2 or 3 of these and then use to be like these are my 10 power token.
Yeah.
This represents 10 power tokens.
No,
Oh,
that
sure.
represents 1 power token.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
It
Don't
was
give
like when
Eric
Jordan used to
ideas.
use his first place coins as as
Yeah.
Focus.
focus.
and
Yeah.
Fury. Yeah. Eric Brown did that for his Fury and Legion, which if you remember how many Fury tokens you needed, he had a lot of fucking coins, and some people got very mad at him for doing it.
that rocks.
It is a flex. So what kind of person would do that? It's like I don't know, attaching all your Adepticon medals to your bag and just jingling your way through the convention hall. Who would do that?
Yeah, that does sound really obnoxious now that you mention it.
The thing I'm
Anyway.
most curious about with this prizing is this picture only has 6 blue dice. Is there only going to be 6 blue dice up for grabs at a GT?
No, surely there's more than that.
But how
No,
many?
I think it's 6 blue dice per person.
You're insane. They're a participation prize.
Yeah, I don't think that's insane.
That's so many dice.
Is it?
I mean, it is kind of a lot of dice.
I don't know. Do you see?
It's
I mean,
180 dice an event minimum.
Heck yeah, let's go.
I mean, that would be
Andrew's
awesome, but there's no way you're
Yeah, I
going to
agree
convince
that
me.
there's no way they're doing that. Yeah, I think first place gets everything in this picture, and everyone else gets absolutely nothing, and they spit on you.
Well, I also am unclear what the play it painted 2 art prints means.
Yeah.
Is that if all your stuff is painted, you get 2 art prints, or is that if all your stuff is painted, you get to be entered in a raffle for these 2 art prints?
Or is
Unclear.
it best painted? Yeah.
Yeah, where is it best painted?
The only note we got in the screenshot about notes from the GT packet, so the tournament organizers, I guess, have the rules packet for a GT, but I haven't seen it surface anywhere that I can look at it myself. But there's a note here. Each round you complete gets you a prize, win or lose, and there are prizes for 1st through 4th place. Prizing other than AMG prizing is up to the TO and must be stated is not from AMG.
That's
So-
why having second win BGT would have been very funny, because it would have been like, look at all these other prizes, explicitly not from AMG. Do not
I
even
did not buy you this beer.
Yes. I would have a lot of fun with that
so-
disclaimer.
If you're getting prizes per game, win or lose, I kind of wonder if you get like 1 blue die per game, which still
Yeah.
adds up pretty freaking fast.
I mean, it's basically the same as giving everyone 6.
Yeah, isn't that-
Isn't 32
Yeah,
only
wouldn't
5
it?
rounds?
Yeah, it is. That's why I said basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, you might have to choose between that and a fancy soul gem or whatever. But
Yeah, well, so my guess is that like the dice are going to go first very quickly, and then everyone will reluctantly get their foil gems.
Every time you play a game, you get one of those art prints. There was another screenshot though, right?
Yeah,
Nate, that you
so
wanted
the
to talk
prizing
about?
all looks cool. I mean, I know we're like
Yeah.
joshing around a little bit, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome that there's prizes.
And it's more than I expected at the event level. So that's all. Like the dice makes sense, cards make sense. More movement sticks, I think, is kind of, and the art prints are both things I didn't expect, and is awesome to see. So no complaints with the prizing. The other interesting note that came out of the mysterious GT rules packet, they're changing how round timers work. We do not have
Hooray.
the full rules text on this. We just have this note.
Ooh.
Rounds will be 90 minutes. If all games are not done at 90 minutes, then a 15-minute timer starts. At the end of that timer, the round is over. Score out.
Yeah, so what they're
Great
doing...
improvement, right? Big improvement.
Nope.
No, they're taking the skill out of playing for time. So now, I mean, that was mostly a joke, but they, for some reason, this is my take on this, I guess. For some reason, AMG still refuses to do death clocks. That is what we do at our events, and what any good, honest, God-fearing TO does. and instead they want to do their round timers, but they probably received a ton of complaints from TOs, anybody that they talk to, about the like random round timer thing. It has a lot of problems. It's weird and confusing, and you have to keep telling people that you cannot tell them how much time they have for lunch and shit like that if you're a TO. And also, I think the round timer being a sort of like surprise attack from the TO that ends your game when you're barely losing will probably always feel bad, right? So I think getting rid of the random round timer is a good idea. It also just is weird. It's just kind of inherently weird, and I think when people hear about the random round timer for the first time, they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Why does it work like that?" But the thing they're replacing it with is there's a round timer, and then there's a different other round timer, and the different other round timer is for real, but the previous round timer is just like letting you off with a warning. But the problem with this is that it's just a round timer, so it doesn't have the ambiguity problems, but it has the other problem, which is that people, if they want to, they can slow play, and now they know exactly how long they have to slow play for. And slow playing is a legitimate strategy, in my opinion, because the rules packet says it is a legitimate strategy, because you can win that way. If I know that if you do slow play, everyone will hate you and curse you and so forth, and that is their right. And I'm certainly not endorsing slow playing, because we play like a social hobby and it's not for money. But it's hard for me to say someone who slow plays didn't follow the rules, because the rules say you can do that and win. And the way to solve that, in my opinion, is very obvious. It's with death clocks, but for some reason they don't want to do that. So
one thing I want to note about like the 15-minute warning kind of thing is I kind of suspect, even though it wasn't stated here, that like it is 15 minutes of quote unquote overtime. So if you finish whatever round you're in that 15 minutes, you might just end the game, right? So like if you're one activation left in round 5 or whatever, and you hit the 15 minutes, you finish that activation. I'm guessing it'll say something like finish out the current round, because that's what the packet says today, is you finish out the current round. It's just that could take another hour. So I'm guessing they're just putting a cap on that extra time, which is an improvement, because it means
that's true. That part's an improvement.
You can actually schedule a convention. Right, like Adepticon could say round 1 starts here, round 2 definitely starts at this time. They can lock that in and force it, which is awesome.
Yeah, like
everything else about this doesn't change a fucking thing and still sucks ass. But
I mean, I still agree that this sucks ass, but this is miles better than it was.
Yeah,
like having a round that is only 105 minutes, no matter what, lets you run a tournament on time. Like, it fixes the number one problem with the Challenger dock. Right? I am also not super, like, we discussed this off the cast. I don't like talking about this until we have the actual rules.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
Let's criticize them before we know what they did. I think it's dumb.
Doesn't say death clock.
You guys are talking about it like it changes the Challenger dock, and not like this is an extra weird rule for grand tournaments.
That's true.
Oh, right. This is just for ground tournaments,
So,
right?
like,
Challengers could still be fucked.
They could still leave it fucked.
Well,
you're saying it could go either way. Right. Yeah.
We don't know. We're talking about stuff we don't know.
Yeah, it's great.
With every new tournament format, they should add another round timer on top of the round timer. Like there's like one round timer, and then there's the overtime round timer, and then in the next tournament format, there's going to be the overtime round timer where you finish your last activation when you hit that amount, and then after that, there's going to be a fourth one where you finish your current hand movement.
Only if they refer to them as like the 4 different timelines that you're playing the game under.
Ooh, yeah, that's another use of the word timeline. Yeah, that's a great idea. But yeah, it's true.
That'd be perfect. We should call the timing rules the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What timeline is this being resolved on? Is this the death clock timeline, or is this?
Yes.
Is this the Challenger timeline or the Grand Tournament timeline?
Are Grand Tournaments a timeline? They're not currently, right?
No.
They follow
take
the
place in a
Challenger
timeline.
dock, so they use the same timeline that a Challenger dock would pick from.
Okay.
So technically,
Which is to
you
say, I could
GT.
still run my GT with fucked up.
With
all the
drop
cards in
off
the
and
world.
hired muscle and
Somebody should do that.
Ooh, somebody should do that.
No,
Wait, that
they,
would
they
actually
should absolutely do that.
No. I might have said that.
Yeah, I think everyone out there, if LVO's fucking whatchamacallit.
Oh, that'd be actually pretty funny.
Yeah. You can't play in the sweaty
'cause
tournament,
right now
so you
what
have to play in the tournament that's sweaty the other way.
It looks like LVO is going to run their grand tournament at the same time as the qualified people, the invitational.
Yeah.
So if you're not invited, you can go play in the grand tournament. It'd be very funny if the grand tournament is like the worst format in Marvel.
We don't know if it's the worst. Nobody's played it.
It is absolutely the worst. How could you not know? If you don't know that this is the worst, you don't know anything about Marvel. You're over here saying you're gonna say in like 20 minutes. You're gonna say Silver Sable's bad, and like how could you know that but not know that this format sucks?
Okay, so that actually, yeah. I was just going to say that you reminded me that LVO also said that there would be chess clocks, right, for most of their events?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, frankly, more exciting to me than the grand tournament announcement, is just that another big tournament in the unofficial tournament circuit of Marvel, which is just the tournaments that people talk about a lot. And that you get a comma after your name and then it says LVO winner if you win that, is doing death clocks. God bless.
Well, sticking
always
to
done
death
death
clocks.
clocks.
Yeah.
Or sticking to death clocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is
God
cool,
bless.
right? Like, there's definitely a world where they could have been influenced away from
Yeah.
chess clocks, but they understand what their players want and they understand what they want out of the LVO Invitational, right? So they have came out and said the Invitational, which I assume will also include the LCQ, but I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure it will be on chess clocks. And that separately, sometime at LVO, we're guessing opposite the Invitational, but that's a pure guess. There will also be a GT event that will be running that you can play in if you want.
Word.
And I think that's great. I think it's a great use of convention space, right? It lets people pick the type of event they want to play in.
Yeah, it has more options. That's awesome. I mean, that's like the thing I always complain about cons for is when they don't have enough events going for one specific game, especially if it's a popular game like Marvel. Like if it's,
I mean, I would definitely play in a GT over gymnastics and get all this cool shit, and then be mad about round timers
just
rather than
make it
being
up.
mad about being shot to death by Bucky with the reality gem.
You're just making up formats now. I never heard of that shit.
All right. You want to talk about new models? You want to talk about something fun, or do you want to talk about squad goals?
Squad goals, not fun.
I don't know. You guys are going to have more to say about squad goals than me since you played in it, and I just stood around watching. So
Okay, let's talk about squad goals. Then we'll talk about models at the end. We'll make them wait for our
We played
hot
squad
takes.
goals. We played no one good. And we lost in finals. Classic.
True. Based. Finally, someone says it. Yeah, so we played at Squad Goals. I was the captain of our team. You already heard about it in the last episode. If you didn't listen to the last episode, you're probably not listening to this either because you have something better to do with your time. But the Squad Goals went awesome. It seemed like pretty much everybody had a really good time. There were only extremely minor problems. I think the way the tournament shook out was what? Okay,
It was
whatever.
a pretty major problem. We made
Okay, it was a pretty major problem, but they made us sweat it out. You want to talk about
the
that?
AC broke. If you haven't heard anybody else talk about squad goals, the AC broke the night before.
I was so it was a couple days before is what I learned. And
Very
people
sad.
have been, but not in the time for them to do anything to fix it. I think also part of the problem is that like it's not their AC, it's the dying mall's AC.
Yeah.
Which
That's part of the charm. That's
Sure.
why we go there. Dead AC, no stores, a suspiciously decent Korean restaurant. Yeah, that's what you get when you come to Squad Goals.
and so like we knew about it when we were setting up the day before, but it wasn't too bad. And some of it was just kind of like, well, we'll see. You know, like we knew it would be worse with more people in there, but it's always hard to know how much worse, right? And then we put 70 people in there, and it's like, God, this ain't great. You know, this is it was uncomfortable in there. The venue was incredibly nice and worked with me to see what they could do, which we came to these conclusions later than I would have liked, and I wish we had the idea sooner. But we ended up getting a deal with the venue where we could provide unlimited bottles of water for everyone on day 2, which I think definitely helped. And
Yeah.
if I was a smarter person, I would have had that idea sooner on day one and gotten out ahead of it faster. And I think people would have had a better time. But and when stuff happens, you know what I mean? I think otherwise, everything went really, really well. I didn't really have to make any super contentious or difficult judge calls or anything like that. Everything went pretty smoothly. It's actually shockingly few judge calls in general compared to other events that I have been at and or helped run.
Are you saying you didn't need 4 TOs at this event? Is that what you're telling me right now?
I definitely
Well, by
did
some
not.
metrics, he might have needed 5.
That's
It's
true.
more than 64 players.
It was 66
Oh,
players. Those
yeah.
other 2 players needed a judge just for themselves. Not going to name them. No, we definitely there's definitely judge calls where both Jacob and I ran over there because we were bored.
Yeah.
It was very smooth and pleasant to run. I think I am working on the promised feedback survey that will go out to all players and all people who were interested in going to Squad Goals but couldn't make it, because I want your opinions too, to collect feedback. You know, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts talk about it, right? Anybody who has mentioned Squad Goals in the description of their podcast, I have listened to your podcast. I think there's been interesting discussions about format changes, whether or not Crisis should be unique, whether or not Tactics cards should be unique. We had debates about that going into this event. We will probably continue to debate those going into the next one. But I do want to collect all of that feedback, and anything else, good or bad, people have to say about the event. Please let us know. We are planning to do a second one next year. We do not have a specific date because this mall is still planned to be bulldozed at some point in the near future. But Pastimes was very interested in working with us again. They are very confident that whatever space they move to will also have space to do events, because they do, I guess, some of the biggest Magic events in the Midwest. They are a game store that runs a lot of events, and they're very interested in working with us again, and I'm very interested in working with them again. So I'm optimistic we'll be able to figure something out, and they know that as soon as we can get a date on the calendar, that we would like to reserve a date so people have time to plan, and they're well aware of that. So hopefully for Squad Goals 2, they'll have a little bit more lead time.
Word. From a player perspective, I thought it went great. I had a good time. Of course, I always love playing in team tournaments. It was great hanging out with people. A lot of people I met. I mean, this happens at every big event, right? Met people that I've only talked to online, or that I realized I had met before, but we never really talked, and then we got to hang out more. That's great. It seemed like, other than the AC issue, of course, it seemed like most people had a really good time, and I always feel like we come away from these events as a group having, first of all, gotten a nice impression of the community as a whole, and second of all, made a nice impression for ourselves of our abilities to run these fun and cool and fair and interesting tabletop gaming tournaments. So you can expect more of that in the future. Our team made it to the finals, and then we lost. And that is okay, he said with a gun pointed to his head. I don't know how you guys felt about your games. I had some really good games. I personally ended up going 4-1. Won my first 4 games. Some of them were close, some of them weren't. I feel like my play was at a pretty decent level for most of the weekend. There are definitely some things I could improve on in every game, of course, but I came out of it just as convinced that Brotherhood is like a extremely high or top tier affiliation currently as I was before. I'm going to die on that hill, or continue to lose in the finals on that hill, I guess. I guess my last 2 games were probably the standouts. The penultimate, the second to last, was against Conan, who I've played before, and we keep ending up on 20-point games on Senators. This was a Brotherhood mirror, but his is like a Brotherhood Cabal duo, and he's actually mostly playing Cabal, but he played Brotherhood into me because we got, it was Senators Scoundrels. Yeah, Senators Scoundrels, which is pretty rough. Like, I mean, Senators Scoundrels is pretty rough for his version of Cabal, in my opinion. I think he made the right choice playing Brotherhood. But he let me play 20, at 20 all weekend, I kept getting put on or having 20 available to me. And that meant I could play the big boys team that has Hulk and Rhino and Juggernaut, and I kept winning those games, which is great. I just barely squeaked that one by against Conan. And then the finals, I played against Mike DeLuca, who you may know from the internet and the Danger Room and the top place at many tournaments. This was a battle of Italian-American excellence, and he was more Italian and more American in the end, so he beat me. He was playing the, I was going to say the meta Red Skull 3 list, but I don't actually, I think it is the meta Red Skull 3 list, but it's not like there's one set of 10 models that everybody's playing or anything like that. But the core of the list is that it's Red Skull 3 as a leader all the time. And then it also takes Thanos with Mind and Space, because you kind of have a pseudo-reality already. And then you fill out the rest of your threat money with low-threat murder machines like Nebula and Zemo, etc. And it rides on the back of the Red Skull 3 leadership being really, really excellent, of Cabal having some really great cards, or at least one extremely good card, and then of Baron Zemo and Nebula and other models like them, like scaling like crazy with extra dice and stuff, right? And we ended up on Demons and Senators, which is like middling for me. I really don't want to be on Demons as Brotherhood, but I do like Senators, obviously, so that went okay. That was okay, but I would have loved to have priority so I could avoid his secures. But ending up on his secures, we fought. I threw people around. I tried to keep Red Skull 3 out of the fight. I missed some good lines that he pointed out after the fact, destroying some terrain so I could get Thanos further out of the fight with Do You Know Who I Am? And then the last round of the game I played really poorly. Like the last round. I wasn't cognizant of how the points were so close to ending the game a round early. Like we were both very close to 16, and I wasn't playing around our point differential well enough. And he boxed out my Hulk, who was holding a Senator, so he couldn't really affect the game that last turn. And that's pretty much how I lost. I would love to play that guy again at a tournament in the future and defeat him with everything I have learned, because I will improve and he won't.
You skipped the part where you shouted "fuck" the loudest I've ever heard you speak in your life, I think.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
You were next to me, and I didn't think it was that loud, but apparently a bunch of people really thought it was loud.
Yeah, DeLuca even
This is during the last game?
Yeah, it's when the Zemo counterattack.
Wait, sorry, what did you say about the Danger Room?
Mike brought it up, playfully, but on the Danger Room podcast where he goes into great detail about his games.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
okay,
a good episode
well, I hope
if you want to hear more about how these finals.
Yeah,
I
should
spend
listen
a lot
to
of
it.
time talking about all three of your games.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I should check it out. I usually just don't listen to podcasts in general. But, I'm glad to hear it was playful. Mike, if I startled you, I am genuinely sorry. It just felt like a really dumb mistake. I made a huge mistake. I very greedily made an attack. So basically, my Pyro had a Senator, so he had an action that I couldn't move with. Ideally, he would walk twice, but he couldn't because he was holding a Senator, right? So, given that, I was like, well, I have nothing to do with this action that means much, but I can take a swing on his Baron Zemo. Because if I kill the Baron Zemo with that action, which is very unlikely, but if it happens, I'm in an extremely good spot. I might just win the game there. The thing that I forgot about is Baron Zemo's counterattack thing, and Pyro was in range. They were in range too, so he was able to counterattack me. And the counterattack had to do 2 damage. Like the way it works is it's crit and you roll 4 dice, crit wild. Every crit or wild does 1 damage, and he needs to do 2 damage to kill Pyro, but he did roll that, and that basically ended the game instantly. Like, I think if neither I kill him nor he kills me, then maybe I get to keep playing. I'm still not in a great spot, but I think I get to keep playing. But the fact that the counterattack killed Pyro was basically game over. And I mean, I don't think, like, there were some ways that I benefited from dice for sure when I think I made some mistakes. The Pyro's whole position the last 2 rounds was bad in general, and he survived a Dark Rain attack from Zemo like an absolute god, which really shouldn't have happened. So there's, I mean, whatever. It doesn't complaining. I wouldn't complain about the dice in that case anyway. Even if I wasn't getting lucky earlier in the game, because that he should never have been allowed to make that roll. Like from my perspective, I should just have never offered that to him. So it doesn't matter that it was sort of unlikely to kill Pyro, because I was already being a big Dumbo. And yeah, sorry again for shouting. I didn't realize I did that.
I don't think you upset him in any way. He just thought it was a funny thing. Which I agree. It was funny.
Yeah. Well, I was mad. The team tournaments, I mean this is a good thing. Team tournaments put pressure on you, especially when you're in something like the finals, in a way that, at least for me, singles tournaments don't. I mean, I always want to win all the tournaments that I'm in, singles or teams, but like, I really don't want to drop the ball for my friends when I'm in team tournaments. So it adds a level of tension, I think.
You guys definitely made the correct decision to get swept in the finals, because then no single person's like, oh, if I had just won, then we'd be taking home trophies.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I would never and I'm sure this is true of you two guys too, but I would never think that about either of you. Like if I don't know, if the way we won that, or the way we lost that round was I won and you two lost or whatever, I would never be like, these fucking idiots. I would never be like thinking to myself, God, you people let me down. Yeah. I hate you so much, it's unreal. But I turn that in on myself if I lose. So I don't know. Anyway, how'd it go for you guys?
Pat, you want to
go? Yeah. I mean, I don't know, had a similarly positive experience. I definitely had a moment at the end though where I was like feeling the team thing of like, I was unfortunately on stream, which I fucking hate. I haven't been on stream since like, it's been a long time, since the Guild Ball days. I'm 0-2 on stream lifetime, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
You've only been on stream lifetime twice?
I think so.
How is that possible?
What
you
else,
were like in
what else
finals of tournaments regularly in Guild Ball.
Yeah, but not stream stuff. Like, the only Guild Ball events that got streamed was like the US Nationals that I streamed. So like, I guess, okay, if being a commentator on stream counts, then I've streamed a lot of games.
You know that's not what I meant.
Patrick, you know that's not what I meant.
Yeah. But then I play, like, I'm bad at Marvel, so I don't end up on stream. Except you guys carried me here, so I had to be on stream.
Right,
but But yes, I was like, I definitely had a point in that game where I was like, oh, I would have conceded already, but these other fuckers might be relying on me to win, so I guess I have to keep trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played X-Force because, like I said last time, it's an easy faction for babies, which is definitely the experience I had, and I meant it the whole time. But seriously,
what was your record going into squad goals?
0-2.
Before squad goals?
Yeah, before squad goals, I was 0-2 with X-Force. I ended up 3-2 on the event, playing the mirror twice, which was a bit of an adventure. There were more X-Force players than I expected.
Yeah, they were really popular.
I squeaked out one of them. The other one you can watch on stream where I get clowned on. There were some interesting things I learned from that game. I do think it was kind of the worst case in terms of like lists and priority, and even the scenario role, given that I had priority.
I think we threw you to the wolves a little bit too, putting you into the mirror where he has dynamo and you don't.
Yeah, Vince fucked you.
Well, but I mean, I
think we knew in the draft that was happening. We were just like, Vince is gonna win his game, Alex is gonna win his game, and these are the matchups we need to make that happen.
Yeah, and I mean, the X-Force mirror is a place where dice can happen. So like, it's a plan. Let's see. I think there's a chance I could have made a different decision about scenario, but like, I wouldn't know that without playing more X-Force and grinding the mirror, which is not a thing I'm going to do. Even though it's sort of the most fun I've had playing Marvel.
But so why are you stopping?
Well, because no one else wants to just sit down and play 15 games of X-Force mirror. But like,
no, but
of the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying you were never going to play X-Force.
Well, I mean, I probably won't, but that's more because I don't own like half the models. When I went to the tournament yesterday or the other day, everyone's like, "Oh, you still playing X-Force?" And I was like, "No, those weren't my models." But yeah.
Wow.
What else happened to Squad
You really
Goals?
are a man of mystery.
I don't know. We had good opponents. We had a good run. There was a Korean restaurant.
So true.
What am I forgetting?
Do you think you're giving your game against Sooner the in-depth treatment that he gave on Danger Room? I haven't listened yet.
No, I haven't
you
either.
Think you guys are like you're like about matching in terms of
So the thing that I
analysis.
I didn't realize until I was preparing for this podcast 10 minutes ago during the podcast. I didn't know Sooner was an X-Force player because I didn't know he had been playing X-Force. Which is probably good because I would have felt even more defeated going in if I knew he knew how to play the game, or X-Force specifically. But yeah, I don't know. X-Force was fine. I didn't have a bad time with it. I think there were things about it being the most attrition-focused faction that I've played, where there were some corners of my knowledge that I didn't have the reps that I should have. So the other game I lost was into Guardians. And I knew I was gonna have to be the beatdown in that matchup, but I didn't take the right models to make that happen, I guess. Yeah. Talking to Sooner after the game was helpful though. Because his X-Force list made pretty different scenario choices than the one I shamelessly stole. And I've sort of come around to his being better, at least definitely in the format, but probably also in general.
Yeah, listening to that Danger Room episode, they talk a lot about both your game and also his thoughts on X-Force in
That
general.
game was not that interesting. Whatever.
Whatever. That's I'm not here to pass judgment on that. But he did talk about a bunch of stuff like the crisis stuff you're talking about that also convinced me that I think you were being thrown to the wolves, and I also think that your roster was actively bad.
Exciting.
For the event and
Not
for the
my fault.
considerations.
Pat, innocent.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Agree.
I'm now curious in what way it's bad, but
I think it's too close to doing what Shield is doing. And
It's
you're
probably
not, your team's overall matchup spread is really hampered by having X-Force and Shield in the same team. And if you're really optimizing for a team event, I think you just don't put an X-Force player in that at all.
So other than learning how to play,
because you're assuming we have a Shield player, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So other than me learning how to play
vast
Web
majority of
Warriors,
people put one in.
what should I have played?
I think there's a couple you could do Web Warriors. You could do just X-Men. I think would have worked out just fine there. I don't know if you want to learn X-Men, right? But let's pretend you're capable of learning any faction. I think X-Men, Wakanda, or Web Warriors would have helped the team out more.
Yeah, the trouble with Wakanda, I mean, definitely, I think my list has a downside in team formats in that I'm using a couple of very strong splashes right now. I think they're kind of, I don't know, they're core to a lot of how I play. Maybe I should have, I think, yeah, if we had come to roster conclusions earlier and I had more time to practice without Rhino or without Hulk or whatever, then maybe it would have felt better to have you on Wakanda. But yeah, because the Meat Men, the Johnny and Schmid and Curtis's team, they had to do a lot of work to fit Curtis into still playing Hellfire, right?
Yeah.
And he had to give up a fair amount of stuff, but
Did he?
but also they had a ton of they were. What'd you say?
Did he have to give up a ton of stuff, or did
Well, he
everybody
did.
else
And
have
I
to
mean,
give up a ton of stuff?
No. I think there were compromises across the board. But I guess what I'm saying is just Hellfire. If you're trying to put Hellfire Club in a teams format, there's going to be everybody is probably going to be impacted. Every teammate of the Hellfire player is going to have to deal with that.
That's why he was the only Hellfire player at the event.
Right. But also those three guys just had an insane amount of reps before the event.
And I even think that your X-Force list, if you were playing Sooners Crises, would have worked out better for you as well.
Okay.
But I think squad goals and some games outside of squad goals have solidified my opinion that just like if you're playing on an E shape, you bring Dynamo, and if you don't have Dynamo, you're an idiot for playing any E shape anywhere in your roster.
Hey,
And
that's my opinion.
what?
Hey, that's my opinion.
Yeah. And so I think prepping you for a list that was trying to fight on E's while Vince took Dynamo is just asking for trouble.
This is just another reason why I'm right about E shapes, and that two of the three identical ones, demons, gamma, and researchers, should be removed.
Yeah.
And add more crises. Don't do that until you're adding more crises. But they should, like, literally, if I don't even care which two of those three. Like, you just hand them to me face down, and I pick two, and they're gone forever. I think that would be a meaningful improvement on the game. But
You're wrong. Researcher's perfect.
well, okay, so researcher stays, and the other two go. Seriously, I don't care which two. It doesn't matter
Your
to me.
face. He doesn't like researcher.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's just they're identical. Anyway, go ahead.
I was saying, the other really funny thing about listening to that Danger Room episode is I don't think this is a direct response to you, but Sooner even has a segment in there talking about why he thinks X-Force is actually one of the harder factions to play in this game, and that everybody thinks that they're easy, but like, no, they're not. And I think that's kind of interesting. He didn't fully convince me of it, but it was an interesting.
Wrong. It's a baby faction for babies, and we proved it. Like,
I mean, I'm definitely open to the idea that there's like, non-obvious skill ceiling room to play X-Force better than people think there is. But
I mean, there definitely could be, like, one of the things that maybe. Okay, there's no reason for me to speculate on a podcast I haven't listened to, so I'll go listen to it and then I'll tell you my opinion. But but one thing I could see someone arguing about X-Force is that it is like easy to play in the moment, which I do think is true, but like roster building for it is kind of difficult because there's like specific considerations and synergies. Like this, like exactly what you were talking about, where Sooner was bringing no E's and you were bringing all E's, and it's like certainly my opinion before the event anyway was that like it is obviously true that X-Force is like a big taken ease faction. So
I think it can be when you have Dynamo, but
yeah, sure.
So we can move on from this, but I just want to bring up to try to entice people. His argument I think is interesting in that he agrees with you. X-Force are very one-dimensional. Like, they have one plan, and that's the plan they're going to do all the time. And his argument is that makes them a harder faction to play, because you have to know how to execute that one plan, and you don't have backup plans. Like, if things start going wrong, you don't have room to change gears or try a different approach the way some other lists can fall into backup plans. You have one plan, and so you better make sure that works well. I don't know if I'm convinced, but I think it's interesting to think about.
That, to me, I know this isn't his argument, but to me that doesn't make them sound hard to play. That makes them sound bad, and I don't think they're bad. But like, yeah. Anyway,
everybody thinks their faction's hard to play. Every faction in this game is easy to play. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Great.
He
Why don't you
hated
tell us
them
about
because he
Easy
spoke
Shield
the
was?
truth.
Because they're an easy faction to play.
Shield was so easy.
It is easy. You just
My
shoot
dice
people.
held up for 4 games, and then my dice pooped on me, and I lost. Like,
why do we even bring Vince? There's no agency involved. We
Yeah.
could have just had a big automated dice tower.
So my games, we talked a little bit last time about our the different sacrifices we made for the list, and that I gave up Sam to bots.
Hooray.
And then the easiest replacement for Sam was Zemo, which Pat already had. And so
Oh
I
yeah,
ended
by
up
the way,
with,
I never played Sam in that tournament.
okay. I almost didn't play Bullseye that I took from Pat, and I felt
That's
really
okay.
bad about it.
I
But I played him in the last round.
That.
I played him in the last round. Sorry. And I probably didn't have to. I probably could have been fine without him. My bad. Sorry.
That's fine.
But I ended up playing some Kraven. I only played Kraven 1 game, but he really craved off, which was great.
Hell yeah.
My hardest games were my first game and my last game. Both Web Warriors games, go figure. Draghi, my round 1 opponent, played Cyclops in Web Warriors, and this had his Cyclops just like hit all of his speed of sight triggers for the first 2 turns, and just like shot all my guys, pushed them all back, pulled all his webs away, and it was just like all of a sudden a game that I was like very much in the driver's seat of fell apart very quickly. But I clawed it back because Craven one-rounded Cyclops because he's the hunter of mythical beasts, and he really craved off, and
Wow.
I loved it. I played Tetsuo again. I played him at LVO, where he was playing Attrition Guardians, and now he's playing Attrition Black Order. His list looked like it was just trying to play as much Gwenum as possible.
Uh-huh.
And then he played like the Thanos core, like Thanos, I think with space only, and then Reality Corvus, Proxima, and Gwenum. And Dynamo did 6 damage to Thanos and a bunch of damage to the rest of his team on turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled over that game really quickly as a result.
Sometimes it'd be that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. For
Tetsuo. Played Garrett. Garrett was a great opponent to play against. I have a take back that I asked for that's haunting me, but thankfully he didn't give it to me.
Right after telling me about
takebacks. I'm actually really embarrassed
being
about this.
Execution worthy, like public stoning, etc.
I'm actually really
on our
happy.
drive to the event.
Yeah, I'm really happy he didn't give it to me. I should never have asked for it. So essentially, we deployed. I looked at the mission, didn't think about it, went, I'm Iron Man leadership. And then took a single move action and went, I'm on the wrong leadership. This should be the other leadership. All right. And I asked for it, and he was like, no. And I was like, that's correct. I don't know what I'm sorry. It's because he had Shuri. And I just like am not used to Wakanda playing Shuri because I don't see it very often.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter. I played my way out of it.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. But I'm just still really embarrassed that I asked.
Man, it happens. It's hard to... Pressure works on people in such weird ways. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's like you firmly believe something, as I know you do, that takebacks like that are whack in like a tournament setting. And it literally just slips out of your mouth. It sucks, but it is what it is.
I kind of forgot about this. One of my opponents tried really hard to get me to take a take back after I like offhandedly, he was like, what's your 5th tactics card? And I was like, oh, cat and mouse, but I didn't play it. He's like, no, you should play it. I'm like, dude, we've moved like 8 models. That is not the time to play cat and mouse. And he's like, no, really, man, you should. I'm like, I don't think so. But it worked out.
I'm sorry, Raymond. I don't remember a lot about our Guardians game, but I assume we shot each other, and I shot better than you, is what I assume happened. And then my game against Lucas, I was actually really proud of how I played this. I was driving Lucas a little bit nuts because apparently my tendency is to hit the clock and then place the activated token, and he was definitely wanted me to put the activated token down and hit the clock.
Yeah.
I tried my best. I succeeded about half the time. That game was like defined by so it's always like tough to call it dice, but like it was really defined by the fact that like my Hela did nothing. I used sit rep on my Hela to make my Hela involved earlier in the game. Hela's first 2 turns, she walked and then made 3 claim souls across those first 2 turns and did no damage and claimed no souls, and then died on the midline. And because she has no souls, or she has 1 from the grunts dying, and so because she has no souls, she's only a 4 health model on the flip side with no defensive mechanics. Right. And like those attacks were not like bad. They were very likely to make damage and make souls. Yeah. Like the worst of them was I attacked Spectacular in cover, which, turns off his defensive rerolls. So it's a 6 die attack into a 3 reroll 1 in cover. It's like 60% to do a damage. Failed that, and then I shot Rhino twice, and I failed to do damage to Rhino, who's def 2 with no sauce when I'm looking for a damage. and then that forced me on like turn 3 to like open the turn to claim soul twice into Rhino. He was on like 4 health. It's like I'm not likely to get him, but I'm likely to put enough pressure that like he has to activate Rhino, and I did 2 damage, and it's like she got souls, and then he played all webbed up on her and got her with 2 attacks from Spectacular. Didn't even use the throw, just like 4 damage, 4 damage. So like I don't think my dice were like bad. It was just like every time I spiked, he matched, and he like matched higher than me.
I don't think. So, never mind. Sorry. I'll remind me this dice thing after you go through your narrative. Sorry.
I was in it all of the way. I moved like heaven and earth on some of these things. Like I felt like I was all the way in it until the very end, where I got to end the turn, or I essentially, my last action of the game was Fury hopping in the shield mobile and getting to take 2 5-die attacks at a 4 health Spectacular, and if I get him, I win. Mm-hmm. And I'm not like super likely to get him, but if I do, like I really like my odds to just win the game in general. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, just like I just couldn't push it over the edge, is what it felt like. A lot of stuff just wasn't breaking my way. Hela did 2 damage all game, mm-hmm. and she made 5 attacks, and it was like incredibly brutal.
Yeah.
And normally she's like an enormous workhorse for me in that matchup, because like she ignores a bunch of the web's rerolls, and like a good way to kill so Black Cat is weak to auto points, which is a thing that she brings, as are all the webs. All the webs are weak to like stuff that is just like roll quits from wilds and take that much damage, because none of their defensive tech works, right? And then they're also often weak to just like large pools of dice, because like one of the things that keeps Black Cat safe is she doesn't get spiked because of no rerolls, no crits. But you can still just throw 10 dice at her, and if you hit half of them, she might blank out, and she might just die right there. And it's a thing that Hela can do. But I didn't get any work out of her, and that was rough. I don't know. I thought I played my commandos really well, moving all my guys around and everything, but I just like could not quite pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucas played great, but like I don't know. Webb seems like it doesn't feel like my opponent outplays me. It feels like whether or not I can pass the gear check, and I can pass the gear check like half the time.
Well, I don't know though. I mean, sorry. I know you're not discrediting Lucas, and
he played. He played great. Like
no, I know. I was thinking about something related to that, which is like I don't think. Like I think when you arrive, like it's so I don't know. When you end up, Schmid and I were talking about this at the event, because I think this was like Schmid hadn't traveled to MCP events either at all or much before this. This is Alex Schmid, who is in the Meat Men team playing his zany convocation.
About Schmid like that, his first name. Wow.
I'm doxing him.
I don't think I knew that Schmid was his last name. I thought it was just a Discord handle.
I thought so too. He told me that his last name was Schmid. He might also be lying to me. That would be really funny.
Would be amazing.
But I'm just gonna. I'm going to assume he was telling the truth. We were talking about this after the event, or maybe like during the event after they lost to Grip It and Rip It, the Danger Room team that ended up winning, that beat us and won. Just in that, like, I don't know if this is like a psychological thing for me specifically, or it's a result of this type of game, meaning tabletop games in general, with like dice and asymmetrical stuff or whatever. I don't really think about this game, like when I play a game of something like Marvel, I don't really think about what's happening as the result of the other person, even though it literally is. They could make decisions that are not the decisions that I'm seeing on the table. Like they could, just break their models in half and stomp away if they wanted, or they could make inherently stupid decisions. They could like have the opportunity to attack twice and just choose not to and end their turn. Right? Like obviously they have agency over what's happening in the game. But the thing you said about it like feeling like a gear check, when I play really excellent players, it doesn't feel like I'm playing against a person. It just feels like, oh yeah, this is what that list is supposed to do.
Yeah,
like
it,
and I
it's the idealized version of what the list plays as. Yeah, I agree.
And I sort of assume most people feel that way when they play me. Like, they're not like, my God, these are Alex Botz's Brotherhood. They're like, oh yeah, this is a well-played Brotherhood list. I'm getting owned by Brotherhood that is being played the way it says on the instruction manual. Like, I mean, I think there's... I don't know how to unpack that too much, but I guess it's like... I was thinking about it because as I was listening to your account of your game, I was thinking, in my account of my game against DeLuca, did I like discredit him or anything? Did I like make it sound like he wasn't doing anything special? Which I don't want to do, but I also like most of my memory of most of my games is like my mistakes and my successes. It's like where I could have done better, where I could have done worse, where my dice sucked, where my dice rocked, stuff like that. And I assume most people remember things the same way. So it's all a gear check. There's no human behind the machine.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't want to. I feel really bad if I.
No. Sorry, Vince. You didn't discredit Lucas or anything, and I mean they won, so we can discredit them all we want. They won the fucking tournament. They're idiots. They lucked into the whole thing. Yeah, exactly.
So, like, yeah, I think that is kind of a way I look at it because the thing that really makes me mad when I play Marvel is when I play against players that take really dumb, like, game-losing risks. They'll take, like, 20%ers and be like, if you don't get this, the game is over. And then they get it. And then they take another 20%er, and they get it. And they take another 20%er. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I've lost to a player that's, like, playing like dog shit. And,
yes, it's a familiar experience.
Absolutely. And, like, I mean, Nate's been on the other side of that a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, last night, playing you.
Yeah, you were just making awful decisions, and Cyclops was just carrying you. I remember. I was there. Anyway, yeah, that's what can often frustrate me about Marvel and minis games. Totally. And be like, I wouldn't be mad. Like, I'm salty, but I feel like I wouldn't be salty if you were just outplaying me. But instead, you're just taking risks and they're paying off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the other thing is it's
how
like
my game against Lucas was at all.
Right. And it's weird. It's always a weird feeling when you're like, there's like a chance. Let's say there's like a theoretical guy who takes like a 5%er to win the game instantly every game he plays, and you just happen to be on that number 20. And it's like, damn, dude, why did I have to walk into the store today? Couldn't I play this guy tomorrow? Like, it's like,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we lost in the finals, and we're serial chokers, and we will never be seen on the international stage again. Any closing thoughts on squad goals?
Coming Mr. Second place at every convention this year. Let's go. Nice work.
Is that true?
No, I didn't take second place at LVO.
I was gonna say.
Won the team tournament. I just did it at Adepticon, and I said a thing that felt true, but wasn't true.
Damn. Second Wind was won by Zach Cohen, who I did not play in that event. Damn it. Mm-hmm. I very frequently lose to the guy who wins the tournament, but that wasn't the case in Second Wind. Never mind. Not a trend, just an anecdote. All right. Should we move on to everybody's favorite segment?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Pat, what do you feel? Do we have permission to move on?
I can't stop you.
You have more to say about X-Force.
More the favorite segment that I'm struggling with.
And that's the intro to Back of the Box. That's the theme song from Back of the Box.
Do you want to explain how it
Vince,
works?
Hey, Vince, do you want to explain how Back of the Box works?
No, why would I take the money out of the mouth of Alexander Bartholomew Box, the explainer of how Back of the Box works? Take it away.
Stop putting my paycheck in my mouth.
But it's so cute, though.
So this is a game show that we play every week, which is the time that we record. And in this game show, we torture Pat. Vince is going to read the back of the box text from a Marvel box. And he has blocked out all the relevant words, like nouns and adjectives and so forth. And Pat is going to use context clues and a belief in the heart of the cards to guess which box this is from only that context. Vince will start by reading the first paragraph, and if Pat guesses it after the first paragraph, then he will get 3 points. And then if he doesn't get that, then Vince will read the second paragraph, and if he gets the box after the second paragraph, Pat will get 2 points. And then after that, we just go straight to Valorant trivia, which is totally unrelated, and I will ask Pat a competitive Valorant trivia question, and if he gets that, he gets 1 point. And there are 3 of these, right, Vince? We have 3 this week?
Yes, as we do every week.
As we do every week. And this time, it's hard mode, so Pat needs 7 points to win, because I don't think about this game between when we're doing it, so I haven't adjusted the scoring system.
Excellent.
All right, here we go. Devoted members of Blank's Blank, the blank and blank team of blank and blank, have terrorized the galaxy in service to their Dark Master. Blank takes great pleasure in testing herself in battle, relying on her inhuman speed, strength, and agility, and her spear, which hosts a star tipped in quantum singularity.
I don't like this game. I don't know who has a spear and is a space person.
Does it help that it's a quantum spear? I'm pretty surprised he didn't black that one out.
I mean, it would if I knew anything about Marvel.
Or quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's an accurate spear.
So the model that I want to say doesn't have a spear, which isn't helping. I think it's the one that's not 2 points that's in the Nebula and Xbox. I'm thinking Gamora. But I'm sure it's going to be like Black Swan or some shit. I don't know. Let's do the second one.
Cunning and utterly ruthless, Blank serves as the general of the Blank and Blank's right hand. Armed with his signature Blank, which grants him the power of immortality and can slice through any known substance with ease, Blank is rightfully feared by all.
That's the end?
Yeah.
These are
That
very
does feel
short
kinda
paragraphs.
short,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Suspicious.
mean, dear AMG.
Yeah, well, nobody's complaining to you. It's just they are notably short.
Yeah. You're doing great, Vince.
We're all proud.
I don't know anything about these fucking models. It's Nebula. It's not Nebula and Gamora. What happens if I don't get it here? I already forgot.
Valorant
Valorant
trivia.
trivia.
That's the only part I want to do.
I hate this Valorant trivia. We're Valorant trivia at the end for extra points.
All right. Let's say Black Swan and whoever the fuck else is in that box.
So your final
my
answer is
final
Black
answer.
Swan and whoever the else?
Yeah.
That's incorrect.
Okay.
You're on the
If
right
that was
track,
correct,
though.
would he have gotten points?
Yeah.
I haven't
Sure,
checked
why
the
not?
rule book for whether.
He gets it for half the box. That's happened before.
Okay.
All right. Pat, you're on the right track.
Okay.
What's the other Black Order
which
box
model
that you
in
haven't
faction
mentioned?
has a spear?
Oh. This is Corvus and Proxima.
Yeah, this is Corvus and Proxima.
Did you switch?
You have-
Hold on. Did you switch the order, or are they in that order on the box?
No, they're in that order on the box.
Okay. Well, I've never said the phrase Proxima and Corvus, so it was impossible.
Well, you get 1 point for correctly answering the Valorant trivia. Next question.
Exciting.
So this is me
You
again?
can get to
Bots?
seven. Yeah.
All right. Hailing from an alternate universe, Brooklyn teenager Blank was bitten by a Blank and granted incredible powers, including enhanced strength, speed, agility, as well as the ability to generate bioelectric kinesis blasts. When the Blank of his dimension was killed in battle with the Blank, Blank took up the mantle of the fallen hero and became the new Blank.
I'm pretty sure this is Miles, but it's in the uncanny valley of I feel like it's too easy. but I'm gonna go
Yes,
with it
Miles?
because I need the points.
What's the other model?
You got
on
it,
the
Pat.
box?
It's Miles.
Nice work.
Gwen. I
yes,
think?
Gwen's
Yeah.
the other one in the box.
I only have the big,
Huge.
the fuck huge box. So.
And we've already done the
yeah.
fuck huge box.
Oh, we did.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's,
Got
a
it.
bunch of these
Get
are
it
still
together,
on the list because they like their listings have disappeared from most of the websites. So we have to go track down the physical boxes.
Yeah, you
and
gotta go
type it
buy
out.
the boxes for the
Oh,
bits.
you're doing research and stuff. Hell yeah.
All right. In a surprise twist.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
How many points does he have?
He has
Oh,
4
yes.
points, meaning if he gets this in one, he can win.
How does
Like
he
in
have
one
4
guess.
points?
How does he have 4 points, Alex Potts?
Well, he guessed twice for the 2-point thing, so I felt like he shouldn't get it for the first one. So I just reduced it by 1.
Okay, fair
As
enough.
though-
He has 4
All right.
points.
You know,
Yep.
He is the
Because
scorekeeper.
also
There's nothing
Vincent,
I
he
can
hated
do.
the Valorant trivia thing, so I didn't want to do the Valorant trivia. So correctly guessing Corvus and Proxima after eliminating Black Swan and quote whoever the fuck else is in
Who
that
else
box,
is in
end
the
quote,
box?
is it's
Super
super giant.
Oh, don't.
Everyone's favorite character.
That sounds
Super
like somebody
giant.
that could chop a world in half or whatever.
She's not actually very giant
Or super.
or super.
Is the other one a swan?
We can still do Valent
Yes.
trivia. Just do it at the end.
Yeah, so like Valorant trivia is great to get over that 6 to 7 point threshold that you always have trouble with. So the Valorant trivia is
that's
worth
every
1
question.
point at
All
the
right,
end.
fine.
All right.
All right. In a surprise twist, this one has 3 paragraphs.
Holy shit.
Are you ready for paragraph 1?
It's never a good sign, but yeah.
In quotation marks, let's finish this right here, right now. End paragraph. End quotation.
That was
That doesn't count.
actually. I think I know which one to say.
I have.
Alex, if you want to send that to me in a DM,
Does he get a point?
but make sure you don't put it in the one that we can all see, though.
Yeah. I almost started typing that.
I could feel you doing that.
So this feels rivalsy. It doesn't have Doc Ock energy. It might be a Wolverine and a
Alex
Sabretooth.
is wrong, everyone.
Alex is wrong.
Fuck, it's the other one, isn't it?
Let's do the second paragraph because I only need 2 points plus my enormous Valorant knowledge.
All right. Take the famous rivalry between 2 of the deadliest weapons ever to emerge from the blank to the table with the new blank, the blank character pack.
Okay.
Blank is one of the blank program's most significant successes
I was wrong.
You were wrong.
and one of the deadliest failures. By bonding Unbreakable Blank to his blank, the program amplified Blank's deadly skills and implanted him with false memories to control him. When he broke free
Jesus.
of this programming, the program's top assassin became one of its most dangerous foes. Now I'm done.
This one's a physically large box, so they were just like, we have to write a lot to fill the back.
Yeah.
Also-
to cover the whole box. Yeah.
If you gave me the first one and that one, I'd feel pretty good. So I demand 3 points in spirit. This is the Sapex and Logan box.
Correct.
Okay.
This is
Hooray!
the
Okay.
sex
Nice work,
pest
Matt.
and Logan box.
Well,
Yeah.
let's.
So you win.
Yeah. Well,
You don't even have to do Valorant trivia.
it depends if you
did
are
it,
agreeing to
Matt.
my 3-point demand or not.
Yeah, the first paragraph doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
It was like,
That
also
one-
do
you made that one
Valorant
very
trivia.
easy.
Curious.
I don't know.
There are only easy ones left, man.
He's run out. Like you're just running out of
Yeah.
boxes, Pat. Never starting
They
over
introduce
again.
more stuff.
No, he's gonna read
Yeah,
me
and-
like the construction site terrain set, and I'm just gonna want to leave.
We're running
We're-
out of
Well,
those too.
And they're only going to get easier though too, because there's going to be the Dracula box, but it's going to be like eh bleh, I want to suck your blood, and then,
Welcome
and then you'll
to
be
this
like,
magical
who is
blank
this?
where-
You're like, man, I really
Is
don't
this
watch
immortal?
the movies. Is this how Wolverine talks?
yeah, it's just yeah, exactly.
You should absolutely just read like the Elsa Bloodstone box or whatever when that comes out in the blah 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 voice. To throw-
Is she a vampire too?
no.
Oh,
You need to be more. Do like with like Abomination and Wrecking Crew. Make it very confusing.
I want to
I
fight
think Wrecking
the
Crew is
Hulk.
going to destroy
Blah.
me. I feel confident.
what? No, it's not. It's going to be like four goofy dudes got together for a night of Halo 2, but instead they discovered fucking Mjolnir and Mjolnir's cousin, a wrench. And then they decided to fight crime or do crime. I don't know. But it's going to be extremely obvious. It's just like They got a
It's a
6-pack of
magical
Miller
crowbar,
Lite.
you know who they're
That's what
talking
the
about.
blanks are for.
Well, yeah, but it's still gonna be like, they're aren't they all like middle-aged dads? Aren't they gonna? Is it gonna be like, they were down at the work site complaining about the old ball and chain, and then they turned into Norse gods?
So at any point,
Like, there's only so many.
Vince says
blanks you
blank,
can do.
blank, blank, and blank are blank.
That's true,
Okay.
especially because it will be the second paragraph. So it'll be the second
there might be a
paragraph, and it will
4-pack left. You
introduce
don't know.
4 people.
Yeah, that could be the 4 new Asgardians. Okay, well,
All right. Well,
On one
that's,
base.
that's
That
back
would
of the
rock.
box.
back
Do
of
you
the
want to
box. That's back of
talk
the
about the new models?
Yeah,
Sure.
don't we?
Yeah, why not?
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know, listeners. Do you guys want us to talk about it?
No. Go
I was
on,
reminded
man.
the other day of one of my favorite bits from Strictly the Worst, where I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but it was something to the effect of like, I think you should have Vetsicana in your roster and figure out when to play him, but that's not my problem. And somebody just, photoshopped that on a tropical beach image, and I was like, yeah, that is exactly the vibe I was going for when I said that. That's how I feel about every new model we talk about. I'm just like, these models are totally fine, probably, but that's everyone else's problem.
Speaking of excellent old bits, freaking Schmid found out about the Bird Bots challenge.
Oh yeah.
The Bird Bots challenge was back when Bird Box came out on Netflix. To date
I like how you always have
ourselves.
to explain it with the terrible ass B movie from Netflix or whatever.
Okay, and so we blindfolded Alex and made him play a game of Guild Ball against a person
Yeah,
that wasn't
like in the movie.
blindfolded, and he fucking stopped.
It went pretty okay for me, yeah.
Yeah, and so we are thinking about. I would love to bring that back. Listeners, write in to the email Nathan H. Horniness at gmail.com and tell us if you want to see that. But my favorite.
Why are you making our fans harass
Some
Mr.
porno.
Horniness? He never did anything wrong.
It's not my fault. Nate made his emails when he was 13 and kept them. But there's a great meme from that because you just like lost one of your models at one point. You were like, I have no concept of where this model is. Where is Boiler?
Yeah.
And there's a great image of him just like lost in the woods.
Yeah. People really loved that I couldn't find one of my models while I was playing.
I was thinking about that when we were talking about adapting this to Marvel, and I actually think Bird Box Marvel is significantly easier than
Yes.
Guild Ball would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
Why?
you have the reference point of the scenario.
Like if you know the crisis shapes,
There's like more things you
there's
could measure.
so
from,
many
you mean?
more fixed
Yeah.
points instead of a goalpost and a goalpost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're right. That's true.
What size stick am I from this objective?
Well, but also it would be harder in a different way because you can pre-measure more in Guild Ball. Like I don't even. There's some things that like your proxy would be unable to answer for you, or like.
Oh, that's true.
Or like, and I mean like,
Yeah.
when I played it, Pat was my proxy, and I guess I would probably trust Pat to estimate 3 inches
Yeah.
with my life if it came down to it. But I think the proxy player has more of a chance to kind of interfere with the game,
Yeah.
which is sort of
I
weird.
hadn't
Like not
thought about
intentionally,
that.
not that they would like intentionally lie, but
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it definitely complicates the format.
All right, so
So what new models came out? There was the Silver Surfer,
Yep.
who has a gun now. That was news to me.
and she's a woman. I think it was really brave of AMG to recast her as a woman.
You're right. That's really cool.
And her
And-
3 tactics cards, 2 tactics cards, a couple cards.
Right. Okay, I'm zooming in on Silver Sable's picture so I don't have to lean forward and ruin the audio even more than I already have. So Silver Sablé is in Defenders, right? And probably some other stuff.
We
Yes.
don't really know.
We know defenders. We don't know the other ones. Probably more.
Surely she's
be-
an
and her-
inhuman.
Could be webs, could be foes, could be shield.
But you can't be not an inhuman with a name like hers.
Yeah, it's true. If her name is going to be Silvaja Sablanova, she's got to be...
Hanging out with Blackagar. Yeah.
Yeah, Blackagar Bolton.
Yeah.
Also, how is she? How come they stopped giving Russian people for Mystic defense? That's my hard-hitting analysis.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about it.
She's the one mentally weak Russian. And maybe also Sabretooth, because I don't remember if Sabretooth is supposed to be Russian. His name is sort of Slavic, but...
Isn't Apex 4 Mystic?
He is, but Sabretooth Uno isn't.
Gotcha.
Oh,
So maybe he became Russian afterwards, or before, or whatever.
Oh yeah, Mega Red's got 4 Mystic defense too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, they all. That was the only thing I learned from a bunch of games playing Winter Guard. Otherwise, it was a waste of my time. Silver Sable seems cool to me because she is relatively unique. She stands on terrain and shoots guys and controls people from up top. Now, the two opinionated people will tell me if she's good or not.
I think she is really cool design, and I would really like her to be good because she's my kind of model where she like does some work herself, but also is like very much like applying buffs to other models.
Yeah,
and it also has some gotcha stuff going on. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't think this model's good.
I think it's hard to tell. So like, a lot of what Vince is basing this off of, which I agree with, is that like turrets are historically pretty bad in this game. Right, like models that just want to stand still, have no action compression, and want to shoot twice every turn have always had a rough go of it in Marvel.
Right.
Which is true. She does have, I think, more utility and support abilities than a lot of the other models you would compare her to, which is hard to evaluate. Does that make up for her inherent lack of both action compression and just like desire to move, right? She really wants to find a good terrain piece and stand on it forever. And does that offset it? Kind of hard to tell. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't find a home, but I do. There's enough stuff like interesting on. Like she has better field leader, and field leader is an insane superpower, and she just gets a strictly better version of that.
In theory, she should be good at funding it because she's range 5, so she should be able to like get her builder a bunch, and like her 2 abilities that are different on front and back seem like her 2 best abilities.
You mean the... Sorry.
Want my help pay up and protect the asset seem like her 2 best abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like you're going to be trying to use that, and on the front side, that's going to constantly pay power into her.
Yes.
Which will then give you hopefully money for shot caller.
Mm-hmm.
Which is her field leader, her better field leader thing. Yeah. So is that going to make up for what's going on here? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I agree.
It's really hard to tell.
A sick, like, 5-minute period where Vince was over the moon about this model because he didn't realize that the Want My Help Pay Up was once per turn. And he just wanted to play this model with War Machine and have War Machine just give her 10 power every activation.
What's up, Pat?
Where did the her paying herself thing turn out?
She can, until they say otherwise, she can pay herself.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I mean, do you want to pay a power for an extra die?
Yeah. Okay. Once per turn.
I mean,
but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because she does have a gainer. So, like, if it was a builder, you would absolutely do it because...
Oh, I guess she does struggle to fund it. I don't know.
Her odds of getting your refund on that would be pretty high, right? You pay a power to get a die. That die probably turns into a hit. Hooray. Cash money value. But her being a gainer means you're giving up either a pretty good spender or good superpowers. And so I think it's going to be a sometimes decision on whether or not you want to pay yourself. She can also protect her own asset. So if she's holding a thing and gets punched on her backside, she can shoot you back in the face, which I think is going to happen a lot. Like, I think that one is easier to do because 2 power for a free attack is great.
Yeah. That's the thing with the commandos, is even when the commandos are, like, unlikely to do damage to the thing they want to shoot, right? Like, pay 2 power, get 1 power back. Like, pay 1 power for an attack. Like, it's so rarely incorrect to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when I thought Want My Help Pay Up, let you do it on everyone, and you could just, like, lay the beam down with freaking War Machine, and you'd be like, yeah, these are 6-die beams, and if I make 2 power on each attack, I'm going to fund the next attack.
Yes,
To do
and
it.
Silver
Seems
Sable
really
just gets
strong.
10 power every activation.
Yeah, you just fill her with power. It seems really good. But it's once per turn, so I'm less down on it. I'm less excited about it. And there aren't as many. If she does end up being in S.H.I.E.L.D., I think she straight up competes with Bucky. And Bucky has action compression.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we don't currently play Bucky 2. Like,
Yeah, that's the other interesting thing about this model is that, like, even when I think her package is good, the only affiliation we know about is Defenders. She doesn't want anything to do with Daredevil's leadership.
she doesn't.
It's pretty bad. So then you're looking at no leadership or the Doctor Strange leadership, which I also think she really doesn't want anything to do with, because that thing, for some reason, still costs a power. And I think her power is better spent on anything else on her kit than changing the type and adding hex. So other affiliations or other leaderships in Defenders would go a very long way into helping her out, I think.
She does synergize with Hawkeye. Like, gives Hawkeye something to spend his power on. But
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and other models, like, I mean, it depends on where she's affiliated, but, like, she's really good with Mystique for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
The Mystique can, like, keep giving her power, because Mystique doesn't do anything with her power most of the time. But, yeah, I don't know.
Also,
she's cool.
Another interesting one is Headshot is a really interesting spender. Like, it's on, like, the dealing 1 damage if they're not in cover and getting 2 more is really strong. Especially because, like, so unless they rule on this, but as written, this does not give a shit about Bill at all, right? Like,
So
you
the
trigger the 2
additional
bonus damage.
Yeah.
You trigger the 2 additional damage on 1 damage to Bill before he reduces.
Yes.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, I did 1, I have 3, here's 3 coming at you.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Thanos,
Reduce
where
damage by 1.
as long as you have 1 more success than he has blocks on his dice, you're dealing 3 damage that he reduces to 2.
Which makes her kind of good at killing those characters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Especially because my help will help the other people go up and over those characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's her specialized function. Especially because, like, while she's not likely to hit the root, like, the root trigger is not great. Crit is, like, as bad as a trigger gets.
I mean, it's wild. Just, like...
It's worse than wild.
It is worse than wild, and we had a whole episode about it. But it's, like, barely different that it, like, in your head, you should just think about it as being wild root, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many worse triggers out there requiring 2 symbols or whatever that I think just single symbol root is great.
The other thing is every character that can reduce damage to 0 hates being rooted.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is, like, if she's special tech for, like, the Bills, the Thanoses, the Invincible Iron Mans of the world, or the Kingpins, sure. Like, that sounds great.
It's a cool niche for her to have, for sure.
So I guess moving on to the cards that are related to her, do her cards move the needle at all? Like, do you guys think people will play Sable International with her all the time?
No, it's awful.
Sad.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, it is, I guess maybe it's slightly better than the Blood-Ridden Personal, the Punisher one, but it's pretty dreamy to me.
You can get VPs off grunts.
Yeah,
right.
If she kills,
you can't get VP off grunts. So, like, if you, like,
imagine,
I mean, if Sandman is terrorizing your meta,
that's so many VPs.
It's 2.
It's 2 VPs.
So many.
So, like, unless she ends up being in, like, one of the, like, Wakanda Forever affiliations, I don't think this card's even remotely.
Oh wait.
Well, she's gonna get sick kills with her attack back thing on her flip side, right?
I was gonna say, there's actually, because this does last the round, so with Protect the Asset and the other Defenders card here, there's an incredibly magical Christmas Britain that we can build.
Yeah. See, it's all coming together.
Like,
you get 15 victory points.
Sandman Grunt punches your model, you shoot it. The other Sandman Grunt punches your model, you shoot it. Sandman punches your model, you shoot him and kill him.
3 VPs.
Yep.
It's
Then he
insane.
activates, shoots 2 more people, gets 2 more VPs, and you win the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. If she made 5 attacks in turn and killed the whole table, like, don't you win anyway? Do you need?
Yeah.
No, you were about to be timed out in the finals, but you needed 5 points to go over just before the timeout happened.
All right. I mean, I definitely. So I see cards like this, and I just want to build. There's like a really memey extra victory points list I've been playing around with for a long time, and I want to turn that into a video at some point where I'm just like, how many? Like, can I score less than 10 victory points from the scenario and still win?
Yeah, it's like an interesting argument I was thinking about with this one too, because it totally would stack with Punisher's card. And so, like, okay, 4 power and a tactics card to get 1 VP. Is that great? I don't know. Is 8 power to get 2 VPs plus some other ones from the Punisher one good enough? Maybe. You know, like, there's the fact that they both trigger on the same event, but then Punisher's also triggers on other KOs from other characters means you could set up a turn where you score a lot of points, and they're both in defenders.
I also don't think it's completely out of. I don't think it would be insane for her to be in Criminal Syndicate.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you have the MODOK card and Usurp in the same faction.
Yep.
I don't know. That'd be what I was looking at if I wanted to make this happen. But I'm mostly interested in it for the fun of it. I don't think it's going to be a competitive card.
No, I don't either.
All right. We've seen Street Smarts before.
Yeah.
Street
Yeah,
Smarts.
we did talk about Street
It's okay.
It's good.
It's okay.
legitimately
Street
good card.
Smarts.
It's okay.
And then there's Cover Me, right?
Yeah.
And
Cover
this
Me is a wild card.
Yeah. I love the design of it. I can't figure out if it's good or not, but I love the idea of it.
I think it's pretty interesting on a bunch of characters. I think it's most interesting when Luke Cage has just died because you have overextended Luke Cage, and then Luke Cage wakes up and plays Cover Me during the power phase, and then makes everyone attack him, and you shoot and you shoot whoever they attacked.
Yeah. That seems good.
And it's also not. Is it 0 cost attacks?
Nope.
Not explicitly.
No.
Go
Just
nuts.
any attack,
Yeah,
right?
go nuts.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can. Is the implication you can get multiple attacks out of this?
No.
Okay, I
Well,
didn't think so.
what?
But
You get one
why not?
attack every time you're attacked.
wait, really?
Yeah, one
Yeah.
attack every time you're attacked.
Yes.
Yeah, every time that character, the character that played it, is attacked,
Yeah.
and an ally can attack the attacker back.
That I don't.
During this round, after an attack targeting this character is resolved, another allied character may make an attack targeting the attacking character.
Yeah, it just
This
sounds
triggers
like
once
every
every time
time
they're
you get
attacked.
attacked, you have the opportunity to trigger this card once, but it
Yes.
happens once.
And then the card goes away, is
Yeah.
your argument?
No, the card sticks
No.
around. Because it's not a reactive card reacting to the attack.
Like,
It's
I-
reactive because you're playing it in the power phase.
Yeah, it says its duration is this round.
I get that, but that's you can also read that as a duration of like how long you get the trigger for. Like I think it probably works the way you guys are saying, but I wish they had written it very subtly differently to make it obvious and like or more obvious, I guess. Like I wish it said I wish there was an each in there. Whatever, this is probably a dumb argument.
Yeah. And you could have the dream of like sacking onto Hawkeye, who's played this card because he has 1 million power, and then he quick draws you, and then somebody else punches you after Hawkeye dies from that attack.
And then Silver
Okay.
Sable shoots you because Hawkeye was
And then-
holding an asset.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Huge.
Bow, 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 bow.
I think that there's something interesting here, right? Oh, also, so they didn't rule on it for this card, but they've ruled on it for Surprise Webhead and will apply to here that you totally can do beams off of this. And as long as the beam has the attacker under it, it's considered valid. Which
Oh,
I was surprised was
cool.
an open question, but was an open question. So if you have
Yeah.
a bunch of beams, you can beam whoever attacked you plus their friends.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I think the other thing that's fairly wild about this is that it can only protect a defender, but anyone can make the attack.
Yep. Which I think is cool. But
Yeah.
like, it's very, 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 very easy to imagine cool ass scenarios where you just, dunk on your opponent as they step into this rake 6 times in one turn. But I also think a lot of the games will just be you put this on a character and your opponent's just like, okay, I'll ignore that character. It takes slightly less optimal attacks into other things. And then you spent 4 power on a card for marginal value. And that's...
I think where this is... Sorry.
No, I was like... And so that's where I think it's hard to figure out if this card is good. Because it does really help your opponent understand how to play around it. Like, it's a big neon sign telling your opponent, here, what you should actually do in this situation is just ignore this model. But maybe paying 4 power on a card to say, my Hulk doesn't get attacked this turn is worth it. Sure it is sometimes.
Yeah.
I also think there's situations where, like, again, I think that, like, Luke Cage playing this card is the most interesting part of it.
That's so expensive, though.
Yeah, but so a situation where I like this is, like, Luke Cage plays Cover Me. They're like, I attack your Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, I play Doctor Strange pays for Heroes for Hire, attack Luke Cage, right? Luke Cage throws you away. Doctor Strange shoots you and moves you short away.
Mm-hmm.
Try to kill my Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's cute.
I don't know. I just think because there's like built-in attacks that like can move people. I think that's where this like gets pretty silly and pretty fun. But you're right in that like it's best on like a bodyguard character. There's only really the one.
Well, it's even,
defender.
I think, questionable value on Luke Cage because, like, so let's say you don't have Heroes for Hire, right? And just like Luke Cage has been dazed, he flips over, he plays his card. Your opponent attacks someone else. Luke taunts it, hits it, doesn't take damage, is now out of power. Cool, this card is now off, right? Like, your opponent just doesn't attack Luke Cage. Luke Cage has to try to activate to make some power. But, like, putting this on Luke, the fun train can stop pretty quickly as soon as Luke Cage doesn't get enough power to taunt again. Whereas I think putting it on, like, a Hulk, there's always a good reason your opponent would want to attack a Hulk. Luke Cage, they never want to attack him. Even in a normal situation, right? He largely gets ignored.
And there's also like, stealth models are pretty like evasive to this card.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, you
Yeah,
put Cover Me on
right.
Hulk, I'm going to walk Black Widow up and stagger Hulk. Right?
Mhm.
I'm probably not in stealth of the model you want to attack with. And even if you are, the fucking kill Black Widow, I don't care.
Yeah.
Your Hulk's staggered.
Your Black Widow just works so differently than my Black Widow. I love the idea of somebody making an attack with Black Widow and thinking it's going to stagger. It's just
Oh,
wild.
my Black Widow staggers all the time. Should get a new one.
I should.
But yeah, so I think the card is definitely interesting. Remains to see if it becomes like super meta, but I don't know. Defenders have room in their tactics cards to play this, so it seems easy enough to experiment with, even though the defenders list is dead now.
Why is the Defenders list dead? What?
Because a bunch of the popular stuff just like dunks on it.
Electro mostly just fucks it over.
Uh,
Every time you go
Like,
through
oh,
a
okay.
portal, you get zapped by Electro.
Yeah, if you just stand Electro on the portal, be like, I will win this exchange. I don't care. And
I'm happy
also,
to add the Defenders list to the gigantic list of things that I'm told are insane and super powerful and that I never see and then they stop being played.
I don't know. I'm also really excited for Shang-Chi to come out and for just the two factions I'm most interested in to just dunk him off the face of the earth. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, Foes demolishes Shang-Chi. It's very funny.
What if the back says if your opponent is playing Shield, you have permission to kill them in real life?
Then he will change his opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just give him Shapeshifter. It'll be fair.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then I guess there's one other thing to talk about, which is
Black Panther and his
Panther
cards.
3,
Yeah.
Chosen of Bayest. I thought this guy was unremarkable and like pretty good, but not amazing. And then I was told that he's on a medium base probably, and then I liked him a lot more because it makes him very fast. and it makes his pounce a lot faster also. And having a 2-cost pounce on a 3-cost model that attacks with Mystic and has like stealth and the cannot modify attack dice thing seems like a really good, just solid 3-cost model. He still sort of is in slot machine jail for me because he doesn't really have dice fixing for his own attacks, but I don't know. He seems like he should be really good to me.
I mean, I agree with you that like the entirety of whether or not this model is great or not is on his base size.
Yeah.
Which, like, it definitely looks like he's on a medium base, but this has happened before, and we've been surprised by small bases, so like I won't believe it until I can see it directly. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, if he's on a small base, he's, I think, extremely whatever, and if he's on a medium base, I think he's interesting and like good in some like he's a Midnight Suns. Like we know a bunch of his affiliations.
Right.
Which is, and so he's a Midnight Suns, which is I think really good for them because their threes are all kind of weird and niche, right? They've got like Iron Fist and Black Cat and Moon Knight. And he's just like a good kind of reliable workhorse for that faction that doesn't really have one.
And also, again, if he's got a medium base, then it's even better because
Yep.
also his bump gets a lot better too.
Yep.
Well, maybe not a lot better, but it gets better.
I just think that like I really like stealth on bump characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this guy's being attacked, like somebody walk attacks him, he can absolutely bump attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Or just pounce and attack them.
Yeah.
And I also just think like bump and pounce make this guy go a million miles if he has 3 power.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, totally.
Thing that actually, so this is going to depend. So this depends a lot on his base size because of how mobile and how easily he can get to different points. And you know maybe there'll be a crisis shakeup and this won't be relevant anymore. This guy's ability to flip over people
It's
is
insane.
kind of crazy.
It's so good.
Sorry, to do what?
To pay to flip
So-
contested points.
Oh, yeah.
So like you just walk to a mutant madman, you roll your 3 dice, you need 2 successes, you get 1, you pay a power, you reroll the other 2. You're looking for 1 coin flip.
Yeah.
And it even unlocks skulls for him too, so it's just fucking. He will take your points without remorse.
It's also pretty wild on sword. Like
I'm
Yes.
dumb and never learned this because I know there are like 2 ways that they phrase things now. Inside of the Ancients, the reroll on Interact says when this character rolls dice while interacting with an objective token. Does that mean can you pay for it after you see the first result or no? Like, do you have to pay for it before you roll for the first time? Because that's what I was picturing it as. But the way you guys just described it, it sounds like you can pay after seeing your first roll.
I guess that depends. So you just have to pay 2 to flip things with him to get the guaranteed.
That was how I was reading it. Is that you pay
well,
2 to flip, but then you get.
So it's
There's
unclear.
no timing window for.
Yeah, because we don't have a timing chart for interacting the way we do with attacks, right?
Oh, there just isn't one. Okay,
No.
that's sort of what I was saying by saying I'm dumb. Is that I have never read the timing window for interacting.
There's
But
never
apparently
been
I
a
haven't
need
done
for
that
one
because-
until now.
Yeah.
When this character rolls dice.
But like on Black
It's
Panther,
not when this character would roll dice. So I think you roll the dice. Maybe it's a thought crime to look at what those dice are before you pay.
That can't be right. It's got to be either you do it before or you do it after you can look at them. There's no way it's
after. When you
I
roll,
think it's
when this character rolls
after,
dice.
and it also has the same wording as Heimdall. So we can get a foreign ruling on Heimdall that would almost certainly apply to this if one doesn't exist already.
I was going to
I'm
say,
pretty sure
surely someone's
Heimdall
asked
is-
this, right? Am I the first person who's asked this, and it's a rule that already exists? That can't be right. I've played against Heimdall several times. They all
I'm pretty
cheat.
sure Heimdall works the like you get to see the dice before you pay.
Yeah, I mean that's how
Really?
everyone's always played it.
Really?
Yeah,
Dang. That guy's good.
it's okay.
He's no Rainbow Swordman.
Well, I'm even more high. If you guys are right about the timing, or I don't know, I didn't actually pay attention to which of you thought was what. But if that is correct, then I'm even higher on Black Panther.
Does not look like it's been.
And he's got a
asked about
cat.
yet. So I think
That's
everyone
insane.
just assumed it worked where you roll dice and then pay power to reroll if you don't like your results.
It'd be so funny.
Oh, well, that's way better. Sorry,
if they
what's-
did it
what's
again and ruled the other way, just like the Wakanda thing forever.
Yeah, if Black Panther just always ruins
Yeah.
or rules on rerolls every time there's a new Black Panther.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I think he's good, and he's supposed to be in like every affiliation. So, and then he's got several cards, right?
Yeah,
Only one of which is worth
all
talking about.
garbage.
Really?
One of them's okay.
One of them's okay.
158.
One of
But
them
there's
I think
like
is pretty good.
there's
not for
10
him.
cards here. Is that right? Oh, because I mean, sorry, not 10 cards, 5 cards. I don't know why I said 10, but some of them are for. Yeah, one's Namor and one's the Mystic Ward thing. Yeah, okay.
I mean, Wisdom of the Ancestors is good, right? Like I'm not
It's the best one.
like it's. He
I mean,
counts. He counts skulls for the turn, right?
Yeah, 3 power and a card to count skulls for the turn.
And you play it with T'Challa. You probably don't play it with Shuri, right?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, I can't
Shuri
imagine
2
a
will
world
play
where-
it, but definitely not Shuri 1. But I imagine this is future proofing for a Black Panther Shuri that will happen at some point.
Okay, right. I mean, is it good enough to take as like a character card, like the way like just for T'Challa?
That's where I'm not convinced. Right? Like the effect is obviously good, and it's a reasonable rate, and like it makes Black Panther 1 hit like a truck, because then has reroll any while hitting on 5 of the 8 faces, and then on
Makes King
defense.
T hit like a truck too.
Well, the thing with Black Panther 1 is on defense, he now blocks on 7 of the 8 faces.
Yeah.
So like
It's pretty alright.
it really makes
No,
him
it's
a
not
monster
7 of
for
the
a
8
turn.
fa- He doesn't block on hit.
Oh, sorry, 6 of 8. Yeah, there's 2
6
hits.
of the 8, yeah.
This is why you can't let him count your victory points for you either,
Nope.
kids.
Still, blocking on 6 of 8 is pretty good. Hitting on 5 and 8 with full rerolls is pretty good, right?
Also, it also affects dodge dice, which
Yeah.
is cool. But yeah,
Where I'm not sure about this card is that is making your Black Panther amped up for a turn worthwhile,
Right.
especially because on like Black Panther 1, you're going to want to use Mantle on top of this, so you're looking at a pretty
And
large
maybe
power
Pounce.
investment.
Yeah.
And also, Wakanda cards are fucking nuts. Like getting
a lot
into
of
the
them.
5
Yeah.
is really hard.
would it make a
well,
difference? This is technically unaffiliated. Do you think people would take it outside of Wakanda? Like, if
I think
you
it's
were
more
running-
likely to see play outside of
T'Challa
Wakanda.
in
Yeah, like
in
if you're
Avengers or
splashing King
something?
T'Challa, I would be looking
Yeah.
at this card.
Yeah. So actually, where I think this is the best, because this isn't, it's active. It's not during King T'Challa's turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think where this is actually pretty interesting is with King T, when King T is sitting on 3 power and going, okay, King T's like a little overextended, but he's got a lot of hit points. Right, let's pay his 3 power to play this. Now he counts on an extra blank side, and if you damage anybody, King T gets power, and he only needs 2 to be back online with his pounds.
Only needs 2.
Pounce
Doesn't
is
he need
3.
3?
Oh, he's pounds 3. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play
Yeah.
that character. Whatever.
Yeah.
That character is played into me, and then he loses, and I don't understand why that character's good.
Because he does a lot of damage. But it doesn't matter when you're killing shield models. Yeah, I don't know. I think the card is at its best on King T'Challa because he can fund it by far the easiest, right? Like the Black Panther 1 is really good at having like 1 to 2 power and then spends it
Yeah.
a lot most of his activations. King T'Challa will be flooded with power all the time. So I think it's at least worth thinking about there. But I'm not convinced it's going to make the cut into a lot of 5s.
It's pretty interesting in the Thanos builds of Wakanda as well, but maybe that's too much gas.
It's probably fine.
And then there's strength and cunning.
Maybe the worst card I've seen in like a year.
That's the M'Baku
Yeah.
card.
That's the Panther 3 and M'Baku combo maneuver.
Every time
Yeah,
I look
the
at this
card's
card, it gets
awful.
worse than I think it was.
Hey, it's only 6 power.
Yeah, what do you get for
6
your 6
power-
power bots? What does
6
that
power
turn
for-
into?
M'Baku moves short forward, and then maybe Black Panther also moves.
Cool. Why is this card 6 power, man? I don't understand
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
even a
That is
little
bizarre.
bit. And it's just like, you get to throw M'Baku towards them. M'Baku doesn't take damage from the collision, even though he's immune to that damage already, which is very funny.
Well, it's
to me.
future-proofed. M'Baku is a M'Baku.
that's
M'Baku.
true. He is
There could be a M'Baku 2.
Okay.
And Buck 2, yeah.
And then, and only then, if they take damage from that throw, do you get to advance 3-threat Black Panther. Like, why is that even conditional? Like, I know this card has a bunch of problems, but it's insane to me it's not just throw M'Baku, Panther walks medium towards you. Why does that second one the throw have to do damage for you to get that?
At least he's size 3.
He is.
Whatever. Even if it worked the other way, Wakanda wasn't going to play this card.
No, it would still be bad. But can you imagine actually playing this card and you throw your M'Baku and then they just like brace it and it's like, oh.
I think that's a pretty great trade. Is trading this
Okay,
garbage
then he
card
blocks
for
it.
brace.
They roll all the blocks, goddammit. Like,
Yeah.
you know the
and
point
also
I'm trying to
it's
make
6
here.
power
Yeah.
for like 6 power for 1 power and brace, and then he gets moved. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I agree with you. It's weird. I mean, it does feel. I guess the only thing that it has going for it is that it is. You can do it. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to do it because it's just when somebody picks up an extract. So it could be kind of surprising in that way, in that it could happen. I don't know. I don't know if that's even worth talking about, but like, there's a lot of opportunities to do it. It's not as specific.
It's also
but-
when an enemy character pays. Oh my god. This could cost 1.
I don't know about that.
You're right. Yeah, its turn 1 would be pretty silly, but
Yeah. And then we have King's Command. I don't even think I've looked at this one.
you don't have to.
It's like the worst R&D.
During your activation, an allied character with an active Wakanda leadership may spend 4 to play this card. This turn, once per turn, when an allied Wakanda character makes an attack, after the attack is resolved, it gains a power.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Right. So it's pay 4 power for arguably maximum 5 power? Are you playing wider than 5 in Wakanda?
Not unlikely.
So, with that wording, if you Wakanda forevered,
You get 1 power.
only one person gets a power, right?
Yeah.
It's not like everybody gets 1 power.
No. You only get
Okay.
a power per turn you have. So the only way to get more power to this than you have characters is to find somebody with counterattacks.
Right. So this is where Silver Sable
Well, that
is meta defined.
they have to be Wakandan.
She's not Wakandan.
No, there's one Wakandan
Probably
with
not.
a counterattack. Does anyone remember who it is?
Wait. No, I don't think it's an attack. King T'Challa has like a counter thing,
Yes, but it's not an attack.
They have a 2 in their name.
Is it Black Panther? Wait.
Killmonger 2, probably.
Killmonger. Oh, it must be Killmonger 2 if it's not Black Panther 2. Yeah, okay.
I've never read that card, but
Okay.
I probably did read it, huh?
Well, he has
But
the worst
never seen it on
counterattack in the
field.
game, but he has it.
yo, he's got a cool hat.
He does have
It's
a
a
cool
6
So
sculpt.
cool. It's a great mini, yeah.
hat. That is not a very good counterattack.
Yeah.
But it would refund 1 power if it did damage.
sure
Or
would.
wait, does it even have to do damage? I forgot. No, it just has to make the attack.
Yeah.
So he can whiff and still get a power.
Sure can.
Wait,
So-
what's wrong with this counterattack?
So it's fine, but everyone else who has this, like this same ability, has aggressive.
Okay.
And so it's just like the worst. It's like fine. It's just the worst
The
by
worst version of
comparison.
that? Yeah, okay.
Alex, you want to play a fun game here?
I love fun games.
What do you think the win rate of Killmonger 2's leadership is?
No,
Okay, let me
it's not
read
even
the
that
leadership really
bad,
quick.
but this is gonna be awful.
Oh right, this is the smoking that loud leadership. So everybody gets a little high. It may spend its token to add 1 die to its attack roll. Remove all herbs tokens for character. Okay, right. If they don't toke up, it hurts them.
But
They
they get
ruined the
power for
vibe.
it.
But they get power for it. Win rate 10%. I don't know. Do you think even 10 games of this have been played?
There have been 110 games played of it.
What the
Holy shit.
fuck?
And how many won?
How many won?
Or
58
what's
of
the
them.
percentage?
So it's
Wait, you said they're
54% win rate.
All right.
Hey, he's broken.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too
I think it's
powerful.
because Wakanda's that fucking strong, because this leader has never existed without advanced R&D Spirit of Wakanda. So there's no
Okay.
bad games dragging this guy's win rate down.
I also think this leadership is good, but
I do think that leadership is good.
It does
I
seem
think the
good,
model's
yeah,
not
why-
good,
it's fine.
but like,
I mean, it's
He's a perfectly
it's
okay
mainly
dude.
about opportunity cost, right? Because you don't get to play Killmonger Uno.
Yeah, okay. Good important stat here, because I was looking. What do you think the win rates of the other 3 Wakanda leaders are?
hey, that's not important.
Because they're all
Are they
basically
way-
tied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
Can
the
it-
lowest of them, though.
Yes.
Can Killmonger, Usurper not play Usurp the
He sure
Throne?
can.
Correct.
He already usurped. He has usurped.
Oh.
He is the usurper.
But that's what he's known for.
He's
I think
post-usurp.
He
should
can't
do it
usurp
one more time.
twice.
Play
Can't
the
usurp
hits,
a throne you
motherfucker.
already have.
Nobody fucking shows up to. My mind blanked. Who plays Freebird? I'm not 80 years old. Well, okay. Nobody shows up to a Parquet Courts concert to not hear Freebird 2. If I'm gonna hang out with Killmonger, Usurper, he better usurp some shit.
I mean, that is the
all I'm
worst
saying.
part of Killmonger 2.
Yeah.
Anyways, what are the win rates of the other 3 Wakandan leaders?
Are they all also 54%?
No.
One of them's got to be like 57.
That's the
Yeah,
win
this,
rate for
this
the
faction's
faction.
broken. Why didn't we run this in
There are
squad calls?
2 of them at 59 and M'Baku at 58.
Oh, okay.
59?
Yep.
God damn.
He is dragging the win rate of the faction down. Yes.
I'm sort of surprised I didn't see more. So I know I made a joke, but I know why we didn't run Wakanda at squad goals. But now I'm pretty surprised we didn't see more Wakanda at squad goals in
I mean, there
general.
were
That's-
a pretty
that
good
seems like
number. Weren't there?
There were? Oh,
We
okay.
did play against one.
No, I know we played against one. I wasn't saying there were none. I'm just saying I thought there would be more based on that number that we've just been told.
There were 6. They're the 5th most popular affiliation.
Yeah. That doesn't seem high enough to me. If like everything other than the meme leader is at 58% or better win rate. But
I don't.
anyway,
I don't think it looks particularly fun to play. But maybe that's just me. Like, I don't understand.
well, that's
why
what
you
Pat
wouldn't-
tells me. But
Well, I just had like a
Why-
bad run of Wakanda games before squad goals, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. Just for Wakanda, because you're so tied to the Spirit of Wakanda gimmick, that the whole, and then you need to get up to a big lead early in like the first 1 or 2 turns.
I mean, I
feel like
guess, but
just-
it's not
I
like
don't think that's true. I think that's what people think, and then they lose games with Wakandas they didn't need to. But, like, you can... I think playing M'Baku games... Like, you're still going to play Spirit, because that card's fucking busted. But, like,
Yeah,
the
agreed.
M'Baku games have way more long-term late-game legs than the Black Panther list do.
the thing I also don't get, sort of about Pat's complaint, but also about this general conception of them is like not fun to play because of the deployment. Does everybody else like really love deployment?
It's
Like,
not
are you normally like, wow, this part of the game is so fucking cool and fun? Because I mean, like, I get that it's less flexible than a normal deployment, but I don't spread out my 5 Brotherhood models across this
Well-
one line, and then I'm like, wow, I had a fucking blast.
I'm
Thanks for
gonna
the
finish
game,
my
man.
point here, regardless of what you guys say. I just think that it's not that they're not fun. It's that there's 2 things doing the same thing as them, which is Hellfire and Webs, and they're just more fun versions of the same thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because nobody's playing M'Baku.
Monsieur
I
Baku.
was playing some of M'Baku.
Yeah, Pat was playing some Baku.
The deployment sucks, though. And so does... You know who else sucks? Amazing? Spider-Man.
Sure
It's
does.
not been, yeah, I mean, if we could ban that guy from the game, I'd be great, as I single-handedly single-handedly beat me in some Webs games, where he just goes, hits every contested flip, and refuses to die.
Did we talk about all the cards in this thing? This Black Panther guy box?
Yeah, well, the ones we know about.
Oh, right. Well, right, of course. Well, we didn't talk about Namor's leadership card, but I guess there's probably no point in doing that
save that for
until we
Namor.
see
Yeah.
Namor. Okay.
You can play it on Steve Rogers, Captain America Steve Rogers. I don't know if you'd want to, but you can. But we'll save that. For
The only thing that I feel about that tactics card is when you read it in Marvel Crisis Database Protocol.
Yeah.
the characters listed look like 4 characters. It looks like you could play it with any of the 4 characters in Namor. That's the first character. Then there's the Submariner. That's the second character. And then there's Steve Rogers. That's the third character. And then there's Captain America, who's the 4th character.
Yeah, they really dicked over the format of this website where they started putting more and more commas into names, and it just looks worse.
Yeah. You guys need to start using semicolons.
I think about putting pipes in there, but I don't want to have to go back and redo all of them.
Pipes? What's a pipe?
It's shift plus
No,
the button above
you're falling
enter.
down the air. No.
Oh, it's the fucking...
It's like the
Wow,
spoiler tag thing.
That just taught me that keycap is upside down on my keyboard. Anyway, wait, Vince left. Wow. Why, he doesn't like this content? Wow, what's the fucking problem? Curkov?
Yeah. Well, now
Do
you
we have
know.
anything else to talk about?
No, I mean, I think that was everything we had on our agenda, so Vince dying here is not the worst outcome.
He made some sort of moaning noise before he died. Oh, he's back.
Maybe.
Hey,
Are you
sorry
okay?
we bored you to death.
Yeah, fucking Discord just keeps crashing on me,
Hmm.
and I lose the ability to talk to you before I lose the ability to hear you guys.
Yeah. Well, you're back just in time because I think we're out of topics. Do you
Yeah,
want to tell
I
us
think-
what we've been this whole time?
Size 3 taco truck.